Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mathics. It's so good to see you. Well, in this video, we're going to solve this equation and find 6 solutions. Yeah, if you found just 2, okay, that's one of the solutions, but we're going to find 6. And to do that, we're going to use roots of unity. You can learn about it more, but I'm going to make it as simple as possible in this video. Okay. Let's start off by dividing both sides by 64. So x to power of 6 divided by 64 will be 1, right? Okay. So from here, let's go on and find, well, the 6th root of both sides, right? I'm going to write it like this. So, and this side. So because we know this is also 2 to power of 6, this will be simplified. Okay. So we'll have x over 2. Okay. Got 6 root of 1. Okay. So you might say, okay, the answer to this is 1 and -1. Well, that's right. You're giving the real solutions. Okay. So now how to find the complex solutions. See, instead of 1, we're going to write something, right? I could say, look, 1 equals cosine of 0, right? I could do that. We know that cosine of 0 is actually 1, right? So let me make it larger, right? Cosine of 0 will be 1 plus, okay. Sine of 0 is also 0. So nobody cares if I add an I over here because, well, I multiplied by 0 will be 0, okay? So that's how we start things. Okay. Now, this is a crucial formula, okay? So it's going to be like this. Cosine of alpha plus I sine alpha. Okay. All of this to power of 6. Okay. See, I'm not going to expand it now. I'm just going to write the result of it. You just need a basic trigonometry skills to expand this. Well, the result will be cosine of 6 alpha plus I sine 6 alpha. Okay, let me write it better. Okay, so that's going to be everything you need to know. Okay, so let's start. Okay, now I'm going to go on and clean this. See, as the first step, we could assume that 6 alpha is 0. We could do that. If 6 alpha is 0, this would be 0, and this would be 1. So the whole thing here is 1. Okay? So this, all of this would also be 1. So I could go, instead of this, write it all the way instead of 1. Okay? So I'm going to write it here. So the first solution will be 6 alpha equals 0. If 6 alpha is 0, okay, then also alpha would be 0. Okay. So alpha is 0. I'm going to write all of this instead of 1, as I said. So I'm going to write it x over 2. Okay, would be the 6th root of cosine 0 plus I sine 0. Okay, so all of this would be 0. All of this would be 1. And 6 roots of 1, all of this will be 1. So we'll have x over 2 equals 1. Well, you already know this, right? X equals 2. Okay, this is the first solution, but this is the real solution, the easy one. You already knew this one. So, but it's not the end, right? So let's go find another one. Okay. So now, if instead of 6 alpha, I could also write 2 pi. Also 2 pi. Okay. When we write it again, see, this would again be 0. This would again be 1, right? So all of this still 1. Okay. So we know that 6 alpha is 2 pi. Okay. So for that reason, okay, alpha would be pi over 3. Okay. So let's go. Instead of 1, I'm going to go and write it. X over 2 would be the 6th root of cosine pi over 3 plus I sine pi over 3. Okay. All of this to the 6th power, right? So now we know this one will be simplified by this one, okay? So let me go on and clean this if I can. So we'll have this instead, okay? So let's go and write it here. We know that cosine pi over 3 will be 1 over 2. Okay, this would be a square root of 3 over 2. So what happens to x? So I'm going to go write it here. It's going to be x would be 2 times of 1 over 2 plus I square root of 3 over 2. Okay. Of course, we could multiply 2 by both terms. I'm not going to do it because it's easy. You could do it. So that is the third term. So let me also write it here. So x would be 1 plus the square root of 3 over 2. Sorry, I wrote it wrong. So x would be, let's write it here, 1 plus I square root of 3. Okay, so that's the solution number 2. Okay, so let's do a few more. So what happens now, instead of 6 pi, instead of 6 alpha, what if we just write 4 pi? Okay, again, everything will be 0. So this will produce, okay, the next solution. So we know that 6 alpha is 4 pi. So alpha would be 2/3 of pi. Okay, so writing it like this, we know I'm going to go faster. X over 2 will be cosine of 2/3 of pi. Okay. Plus I sine 2/3 pi. Okay. This would be 120 degrees. So x over 2 would be -1/2. Okay. This one will be plus I square root of 3/2. Okay. So you get the idea, right? We multiply 2 by both sides. It would be -1 plus, okay, square root of 3 times I. Okay. So that will be, okay, the next solution. Okay. To make it faster, let's go and come up with the next solution. Okay. So instead of 4 pi, instead of 6i, we're going to write 6 pi, the same story. Okay, for easy peasy, alpha will be just pi. Okay. So x over 2 would be cosine of pi. Okay. Plus I sine of pi. So what happens here? Sine of pi is 0. This is -1. So x equals -2. This is the second real solution, okay, that we just found. Okay. That's the fourth solution. Okay. So, to find the next solution, oops, instead of 6 pi, you get the idea. Next we write 8 pi. Then you find another solution. Then you will write 10 pi. Then you get another solution. But then will be 6 solutions already. What happens if I write 12 pi? See, if I write 12 pi, will there be a 7th solution? In this case, 6i would be 12 pi. So alpha would be 2 pi. Okay. And then what happens here? It would be x over 2 cosine of 2 pi plus I sine 2 pi. Okay, so just look at it. Again, this would be 0. Okay, this would be 1. And x would become 2 again. And that was the first solution. When we said earlier that 6i equals 0, we were producing the same solution. So if you just continue, instead of 12 pi, you write 14 pi. It will not produce new solutions, okay? So there you go. We got our 6 solutions. I hope you found this useful. If you did, let me know. Write it in the comments, like, subscribe. See you later.